The reasons why we are always poor in Africa, in Kenya especially, is because we want it all for ourselves. If you don't have a system, even understanding how much you have lost is a problem. The problem for money not going back to the counties is not because of the system. The guys in treasury, the guys in the senior civil servants are not happy because everything has gone to 222. In US, you are killed for having a different opinion and freely expressing yourself. That's why I'm telling you that the world is still largely conservative. Charlie was debating all bad issues, whether you talk about abortion, you talk about the views about God and morality, you talk about families and upbringing and whether parents are doing it right. Even if he was debating those sensitive topics, even security for that matter, I don't think somebody should put a bullet in his head just because he's debating that. Every hard work breeds wealth. God will never reward poverty.
Okay.
This is for sure. If you are in the scarcity mentality, there is no God who will come there. Everyone, including yourself, when you are poor, you punish yourself. If God gives me health and keeps wealth, I will not complain. In my philosophy as a practitioner, I'm given to pragmatism in society.
Yes.
Really communicating, number one, and resolving real issues. As opposed to me giving you legal lingo and trying to present abstract terms, which a viewer is not really keen about going through them.
Exactly. But even your clients, do you, when you speak to your clients, do you speak to them in like very hard legal lingo, or you just have like normal conversation with them, just laughing?
In fact, major reason for the traffic of clients I have to my office is because of simple language and demonstration of availability. Like, Niaje, I'm here, yes, talk to me. And the client feels like he's talking to a human being. He's not actually talking. At the back of his mind, he knows he's in a lawyer's office, but he's happy to see my quick intonations, getting surprised also, just like any other human being, identifying with the client's problem and then resolving the problem in ordinary terms. The courts need legal lingo. But the ordinary person in the street, it does not require that. He wants you to use whatever you know in the legal way in your mind, but offer practical solutions in the market or in the street. And so do you think that when do you get to use your legal lingo, like the tough languages, like the tough words? You do that when you're writing, whether you are doing court writings or you are doing a book and you want to address colleagues and peers and show how much knowledge you have gathered a long time in history. That time you can. I mean, when you are meeting professional colleagues, when you are in symposiums and conferences, you want to give all those basically pure Latin terminologies for the purposes of shortening even the speech. You see, when you use legal lingo, it doesn't mean that you're really being complicated. A speech of about 10 minutes could last about 3 or 4 minutes, and you are done.
Sometimes I listen to you guys talk about plaintiffs and defendants and acts and stuff like that, and I don't know, sometimes why and even when we get to contracts, why don't people just speak simply, in a way that
Joab, life is structured. Life is based on structures. I mean, we are now sitting on chairs. That's a structure. And we're in, there's a floor. And there's a roof above us. You're setting up this studio. There has to be these microphones. There has to be cameras and all that. So the real reason for using legal lingo, sometimes it's like you're picking the abstract from the origin, then bring it to the lawyers and take it to the judges. Where ordinary human beings are involved, ordinary humans like you, then you don't pick the legal lingo from the origin and dump it with the ordinary humans, because then you're really overburdening them in the process of trying to understand. In the real sense, structures are supposed to help the advocates, the lawyers, to draw either the pleadings or the write-ups, which can easily be understood by the judge.
Yeah.
That's why we use legal language and legal terminologies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but in terms of ordinary communication, really, if you mention tough lingo, then tough legal lingo, then you must be able to explain to your listener. The point is, somebody should understand. Even talk about ordinary English.
Yeah.
If a British is trying to communicate, a person from another part of the world, like even English-speaking communities, may try to question, how did you
formulate that sentence.
How did you construct that sentence?
Yeah.
Americans speak different English when you compare with the British.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it is about people's cultures. It's about structures that they use. For example, you go to court, and now this is not necessarily about legal lingo, but you go to court, you dress like me here, and then you are addressing the judge.
Yeah.
And the judge will be like, this is not our culture.
But what is that about? I mean, why can't lawyers just show up, dressed in a V-neck t-shirt like me and just talk to the judge?
Yeah, I think that's good. I mean, if it becomes the culture, it's great. I mean, why not? I mean, you're in a tie the whole day, meetings up to midnight.
So you also have a problem with that kind of dressing?
It's not a problem, but we are all humans. As we, like I said, if we are having a dinner, why would I be in a tie? If we are having, social time elsewhere, why would I be in a tie?
Yeah.
But as I said, these are structures. If you are going to a courtroom, why would you like to be casual? It's not a casual environment. So, but anyway, that's a whole big topic in terms of history of dressing and addressing the courts.
I think you guys are colonized. As lawyers, the claws of colonialism have still held you down, and I think for that, I think you guys are not free.
I think there are no. I don't think there are clothes that are colonial based.
You guys put on wigs of some British lords, and some dark clothing that resemble what the aristocracy was like then in Europe.
Yeah,
isn't that colonialism?
But it was a culture. Today I don't put on my tie and jacket because I'm colonized, because I can do that in courtroom. I can do that in church. People do that in mosques.
That's probably colonialism too.
I don't probably if you come from that school, if you come from that school of thought, but in the real sense, I think I look at this as structures.
Yeah,
it's the structures. It's what happens here, what happens there. If you look at Chinese and you look at Indians, for example, look at the way they dress when they are going to their parliament. The Indians, especially. I mean, they will be in clothes which, in another world, you might say they are not the normal clothes we wear. It's not the way we dress.
Yeah.
But you cannot judge that. I mean, that is them. That is their structure. That is their culture. That is their norm. Yeah, you can look at it in any way. But I know former Chief Justice Mutunga has talked about those heavy dressing. And by the way, he tried to remove, in the case of Kenya, he removed all those requirements that you should be in a wig, you should be in heavy clothing when you're... But subsequently, I mean, Justice Maraga came in and sort of tried to return people to that structured regalia where you have to be in a wig to appear like you are a judge.
Yeah.
So and you realize sometimes it can be very frustrating to especially emerging advocates when they come into the market and they find you are dressed in a T-shirt. And you want to address there were cases where people came in T-shirts during Chief Justice Mutunga's rule. Yes, remember judges came to court in a shirt.
I would have loved to be a judge at that point, or a lawyer at that point.
Well dressed, neat, and on a Friday afternoon there is no tie, nothing. People were just themselves the way they are.
And I think that's how it should be, as it should be.
Yeah, but you see,
because you create this persona of who you aren't. You become a fake you. The judge who issues judgments and the lawyer who represents the client and the government lawyer on the other hand, I don't know what they call them, prosecutors, they're all fake people.
So how
fake personalities.
So if you say like this, I know I'm supposed to be answering you, but this is a conversation.
Yeah, of course it is.
Joab.
Yeah.
How would you describe a president, for example, if he wakes up, dresses neatly at State House and he meets people?
How would I address him?
How would you address? I mean, what would be your view about him then? Do you call that colonization? Because I want to understand why.
Yeah, I think if the president showed up
like these, and
if the president showed up, even the president is colonized. His mind is colonized, and by extension, his people are colonized. President Ruto, when he was running for office, I remember him putting on. Let's put up a picture of President Ruto when he was running for his campaign. He had this, I think, yellow T-shirt and a green.
Yes.
A green something.
Yeah.
And it was
mostly
in
casual or Kenyan, something like that.
Why can't the president just be like that and go to work like that every single, every normal day?
Yeah, I agree.
And wouldn't that be okay? Because I feel like that is the culture. That would be some culture in a sense of a certain.
But we've seen Nigerians actually dress in their special attires.
Yeah.
They seem to be smart.
I think I think that is what we are lacking.
And so talking about dressing, it emanates from your mood and culture and confidence about what you're putting on. So
you're talking about Nigerians here, and I'm thinking about all the crazy things that we hear about Nigerians.
No, every culture has their own extremes. But in terms of dressing, they have taught the world that, if you are to look for an African dress or African attires, you can easily drive into a city in Nigeria and ask a fundi, a tailor to
get you something nice.
Yeah.
It's very interesting that we're even talking about this because, Nigerians are the largest black population in the world, and 1 in 6 black people is a Nigerian across the world. But the funny thing is that they have so many good things, but at the same time, they are associated with a lot of bad things. I don't like that stereotype that is applied on them. One of the things that is applied on them is the fact that they used to call them Yahoo boys. People who used to call. Have you ever been conned or washed of money?
Life. Of course, I've been conned in life.
Our old lawyer was conned. Hey, what happened? Are you able to talk about it?
Yeah, people plan to do something evil. They really plan. They take a bit of time to plan. They observe what you do and the steps you take in life.
Yeah.
When they are doing that, you're busy taking your steps. You're not conscious that somebody's trying to observe what I'm doing, then he does something. So they sort of try to socialize their behaviors so that they look normal.
Yeah.
So somebody comes up and says, if you don't mind to buy me a bottle of beer or a cup of tea, why would you think that this person is trying to con me? It is so easy for you to buy a cup of tea or beer that particular day or evening.
Yeah.
This, you mentioned wash. It is not a one-touch thing and go.
Yeah.
It is sort of like a culture. It is a tradition. It becomes a lifestyle for some people.
Yeah.
To try to outsmart others in mental vibrations, if I may say.
Yeah.
Because he would come to the table, he say, "Hey, big lawyer, can I have a cup of tea today on your bill?" And you start thinking, this is nice. It's a friend. Why not, man? Oh, okay, fine.
Go
you
on.
see, you may be honest, excited, or warm to that request, but he is after something else.
Yeah.
He's trying to look for how to outsmart you and normalize your vibrations and his as though it was a normal request.
Yeah.
And I think over 60-70% of people will not have a problem with, oh yeah, you can have a cup of tea. It also depends. You're in a decent place. A person comes in. You probably have seen him once or have not seen him. But he comes in with, these are people who are used to mentor, capabilities. They understand how mind works.
Yeah.
So by the time he sits down with you, he also makes an informed judgment of who you are. If he finds you too pious, religious, if he finds you too leaning towards a certain philosophy, he works on that.
Yeah.
They themselves don't have any philosophy except to con you and except to wash you for that matter. But because they can change into anything, they can say, You say, I'm a Christian, they would say, I'm a Christian. You say, I'm a Muslim. Oh, yeah, I'm a Muslim too.
They suddenly know the entire Quran.
So that's how people get conned. And if you can be conned to buy a cup of tea, you can be conned to give 100 million or 10 million or 1 million.
Mm-hmm.
The issue is how your brain, mental vibrations have been, I don't know whether to say accentuated or gotten used to that conman.
Yeah. I think that's one form of conmanship. Let me give you a personal story. I remember when I was young, I just graduated high school, and I had this phone. It was a small flip phone, the first generation phones that were there in the market. And then I think at around that time, they brought out this Nokia, I think N90 something, or, let's put up a picture of the N90 phone. It was a nice screen. It was bigger in size, had, you could probably play a video in there and stuff like that. And I couldn't afford that phone at that point. And I was walking down the street in downtown Nairobi, and then this guy shows up next to me and is like, hey, I have this phone. So he shows it to me from the side of his pocket. So normally, I'd had such encounters before, but normally I wouldn't even give them time. So for whatever reason, on this day, I was like, you know what? I think I was waiting for somebody in Nairobi, and so I was like, you know what? Let me indulge him and see where it goes. So the guy's like, yeah, it's just 3K. I was like, man, I don't have 3K. I have 1K. I have 1,000 shillings. And it's like, man, do you have another phone? I was like, yeah, I have another phone. I have a kabambe. So they used to call it a kabambe or mulika mwizi. So it's a small flip phone. You can put that up as well. So the guy is like, he tells me, you got to pay 3,000 shillings plus give me this phone. I'm like, man, you just said it's 1,000 plus the phone. So he changed up on me, and it's like, now it's 3,000 plus the phone. Now I became desperate. I was like, you know what, man, I will send you the balance tomorrow. Give it to me for 1,000 plus this phone, and I'll send you the 2,000 shillings tomorrow. And it's like, no, you'll con me. But he gives me the phone, and I put my SIM card inside. It's like, try it out, check it out. Put my SIM card in. It's working, man. It's nice. It's lighting up. I think I even made a phone call. It's a real phone. So I put it in my pocket to continue the discussion. He's like, hey, you're stealing my phone. Unanibia simu. And I'm like, hey, man, man, I was not stealing it from you. So I start begging. He was like, hey, give me back my phone. I will shout here. You'll be beaten.
You see that he's already playing on your emotions.
Exactly.
He's saying you want to steal from me, but it actually means that you should be on some level of scare or some level of threat.
Because what he did made me desperate. So I removed the phone and I gave it back to him. I was like, man, I'm not stealing the phone. I gave it back, took out my SIM card. And then now I started begging him, man, just please just take the 1,000 shillings, man. Just please.
Then you give
I promise. I even told him, I'll give you my identity card so that you know that I'm not going to run away. Man, this is a con man. Yeah. Like, I can tell that he's a thief. Like, there was nothing.
No, but were you able to tell he's a thief at the time you were having that conversation?
Yes, he was. Because, how do you have a phone and you're selling for 3,000? The phone goes for like 20,000 shillings. So, these were boys who rob from some people and then they're selling.
So he managed to take your phone that day?
Yeah, man. So eventually, I gave him the 1,000 shillings. He gave me a phone. Hey, hide the phone, hide it. It will be stolen from you. Utaibiwa hapa saizi. Feature. So I put it in my pocket, man. And
where's your other phone?
So, and he started walking away, and I called him because I'm an honest guy. I'm like, hey, you forgot the other phone. So I removed the other phone, my phone, and gave it to him. So as he walked away with my phone plus my 1,000 shillings, I knew that I had been conned.
Yeah, it
I just had this
immediately,
feeling immediately. And I stepped into a store, into a bookshop that was there, a bookstore that was there, and I took out the phone. And man, when I lifted it, man, I could just feel that
what
it
was
a piece of plastic inside coins. I think there was like 10 shilling coins or 5 shilling coins that were stuck together with glue.
Yeah.
And they were, they made it feel heavy.
So I was here on Kemadi Street near Nation Center.
Yeah.
And same story, by the way. And I was with my brother and another two cousins, two cousins of mine. We were 3, and somebody came exactly like that, and he sold us a bad phone.
Yeah.
And we took it. We were many. So sometimes it's like there's an environmental wave that passes around the, ozones or up here, and it would feel like once the air of being deceived is there, it appears that there's nothing you can do.
Yeah.
We are not, by any standards, by any description, we are not morons who can come to the market, to the cities and be snatched things or be conned like that. So I think sometimes these are things beyond human control. Sometimes.
Yeah.
Because I know a young lady who now lives in Toronto. She went there in the street, also not far from Jamia Mosque, and somebody just came and said, "Mama, I have seen that God loves you." You know, that's some godly conversation. So I've seen that God loves you.
Yeah.
I want to pray for you so you multiply your money. And you know, this young girl accepts, and she was actually then planning to fly over to the Canada.
Yeah.
For her studies and living there and all that. And that guy told her to remove all the money in her bag or pockets and put them in the hands, in her own hands. And then told her to turn and face the tree that was, and then say to pray. Then the guy was praying for her. Then he tells her to turn and just put her hands in his hands, in his palms, you know.
Yeah.
And then says, "Achilia to mama, achilia pesa." Then pray again. Then tells her again to turn again and pray.
Yes.
Where was the point of conmanship?
When he told her to turn around.
No.
I want to pray for you.
Thank you. And that God has told me, you
need breath.
Now, I was here in, I don't want to mention the hotel, down here on Jogoro sometime. And a guy came, found me sitting on in the hotel and said, God has sent me. He just told me like that. I couldn't believe him.
Yeah.
I mean, I couldn't believe myself. I'm hearing that also. God has sent me that you buy me a soda today. So he believes strongly that the Kenyan masses have this thing about God that you can tell them what you... Perhaps this is what you meant when you said colonialism. Yeah, so this level of conmanship is rampant. Not only in Kenya, by the way, globally.
Yeah.
This is not just even in the streets. It is also in institutions. There are people working in institutions, but their whole mentality is to con others.
Yeah.
And that's why you find, for a case like in Kenya, you find that the younger, what we call Gen Z now, feel very offended by the leadership, by the politicians, by the people in power, because they say something. Once you do it, then they go. Then the leaders, jump to the other side and do exactly the opposite. Still, that's a level of conmanship.
Yeah.
It is a level of conmanship.
You know, one of the things that I've heard that is happening, you know, there's all these boys in town who have so much money, man. I mean, when everybody's struggling, so first of all, I'm going to come there. You have very many friends who are politicians.
Yeah.
One day, I'd like to hang out with you guys when you're in your golf club or whatever. And you talk to me how you make your money, how your politician friends make their money, because I've been a businessman since I was 18 years old, and I've struggled to make ends meet and make money, and even convince my bank to give me a loan, a credit facility. It's very difficult. So sometimes it's very surprising to me that there are these politicians who are full-time politicians, are in parliament every day. They run a store, in a furniture store or a nightclub or I don't know, a chicken farm, and they make billions from those businesses. Well, the rest of us who work hard, man, with this, I've been a chicken farmer, I've been a charcoal seller, I've done, I've been an electrician, contractor, an electrical contractor, but I never met the money to the levels these people are talking about. Yeah. And yet I was like handling like real business.
Yeah.
So I'm convinced that that is one form of washing the money.
No. What?
Washing the money.
No, I don't think, Joab, I don't think so. You see, we must agree, God will never reward poverty. This is for sure. If you are in the scarcity mentality, there is no God who will come there, whether Yahweh or some Hindu God, or that's not how the systems work.
Yeah.
Systems, I mean universal systems.
Yeah.
Whether you talk about religious, God, or business, nobody rewards poverty. In fact, everyone, including yourself, when you are poor, you punish yourself.
Of course, man. When I'm broke, I'm very stressed.
So the main issue here is being industrious, entrepreneurial, and making money is a great idea. If there is a politician who is having some farming activity and selling chicken and doing whatever they are doing, and it is multiplying, I think that is something worthwhile. It's something we should be encouraging everybody to do. And that is different when you talk about a politician walking down the road and suddenly finding 10 billion and turning back to say, I'm very rich. You see, that is totally different.
And sometimes saying that my chicken farm gave me the 10 billion. Sometimes.
I mean, that's laundering. Now in Kenya, we have anti-money laundering laws. You know, the act is very clear that any source of any money you have, you must declare the source.
Yeah.
So if institutions in our country are serious, you can stop fraudsters on their track. If the systems are empowered, if the executive is serious, if the president is honest in terms of fighting corruption and working towards fighting actually and eliminating or even bringing down the levels of corruption in government institutions and then discourage private institutions as well from trying to engage public service from giving bribe and taking bribe. So if that is achieved, then you can find a thief. Anytime, morning or afternoon, you can find a thief because you can't tell the world that you've been trying to sell chicken. You've been trying to make money through the farming you do. And we know farming, if you're doing farming of this nature, of course you can make money. Agribusiness has a lot of money, yes. But excessive money that simply drops into the bags and pockets of politicians especially and leaders and also even private persons. You know, we always talk about these wash wars and corruption in terms of government offices.
Yeah.
If you do a good study about this wash wars thing, it is strongly aided and facilitated by private citizens. I mean, I've had a chance to handle a number of these matters.
Yeah.
And sometimes I've defended, sometimes I'll be on the government side. You don't realize from the word go that this is wash. But there are cases and instances where you can see that this person is trying to give me a brief that is loaded with a lot of criminalities. But in most cases, somebody comes in and says, I am from Burkina Faso. And I mean, Burkina Faso, just as an example, I don't mean to say that there's anything wrong emanating from that country. But
the land of apartheid, man. I think that's what Burkina Faso means.
Yeah. So you come in and you say, I want to get some wealth from my country to here because I want to invest. That is a justified legal thing. I mean, it's not like wrong for somebody to say, I want to go and settle in Canada or Switzerland for that matter, and I have $1 billion shillings in my home country and I want to go with it. It's allowed. The procedures you use to travel with that money is the question. And I told you that if all procedures are followed, you will be able to tell if this money is wash or not wash. So there is not a single definition of how you can tell this is wash. It starts as a normal business. So if somebody comes like that and says, this money, however, I don't want to bring it personally because my home country, the laws don't allow, I want it to be wired to your account. Of course, we've done this and somebody will wire that money to your account. In the past, we did not have these, financial reporting, rules as they are today. We didn't have anti-money laundering.
Do politicians or government leaders, civil leaders, actually report their wealth every year or every month?
Yeah, and you see, Joab, that is where the problem is. That is where the problem is in two ways. They don't report.
Yeah.
Why? Because, human nature is such that if I can take advantage of your tea, you have your tea in your cup and I have my own. But we don't control if we are not disciplined in how we control our hormones and chemicals, I will still be wanting to actually sip your tea and not mine. So that's already wash. That's corruption. That's stealing, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that's why I insist it does not matter to me if a politician does not want to report. It matters to me if the systems are in place to identify the politician who
does
has
not.
refused to report.
Yeah.
And this is what is happening in large democracies.
But now what you're saying is that those systems are there that could make them report or whatever.
Yes.
So then why aren't those systems working?
Because we are still using people who are in previous ages who do not fully appreciate how systems work. So we're having a serious struggle between guys who do not like a system. They don't like systems, rather. And they are the ones who are, charged with implementing systems.
Yeah.
This has been a big problem. You heard, for example, the president of Kenya one time saying, we want e-procurement for the whole country. Of course, there are people who are arguing, why is he saying e-procurement? He wants to do this thing like e-citizen 222.
That's what I was going to ask about. I hear that nowadays all coins go to e-citizen. I think they call it one basket or something like that. And what that has done, it's starved institutions from access to the money that they need to operate, because they expect the money to come back from the central government, but it doesn't come back, from what I'm hearing.
Yeah. I don't know, and I don't want to spoil your good podcast by giving you any lie. But from the information available on the air, Ruto has told people he was a chicken seller.
Yeah.
And people sell chicken is more like those wazees, those old guys are in the villages who go to do, like trapping moles and rats and
birds, quail.
Their skill is so deep. It's just that they are not exhibiting their skills out here. Their skill to actually trap a rat and get it, and the skill of rearing chicken, for that matter, and making money out of it. That's a big skill. So our president has the skill and understanding on how people can dupe others. In fact, I think is a notch higher than many people in our institutions. He can understand that these people who are now talking about e-procurement and resisting it, it's because they want to pocket money. He has that capability of how people actually can steal.
Yeah, he understands how people steal.
He gets it. I don't know. Some people accuse him. They will say, it's because hata yeye anajua vile kunaibwa. But the real thing here is, if you're putting all the money in 222, for example, the system can tell you that you have lost 200 billion in a time of 2-3 months. If you don't have a system, even understanding how much you have lost is a problem.
Yeah.
So that now, if we have one or two individuals benefiting from 222, unfortunately, may sound funny, but it is much better than when everybody in the institution is leaking the institution dry. Because then you won't have money. So the problem for money not going back to the counties is not because of the system. It's not because of 222. It's because the guys in treasury, the guys in the senior civil servants are not happy because everything has gone to 222.
Now they can see if it goes out.
And now somebody is saying, now this is only for Muse. This is for number one only.
Yeah.
And where is our share? So we are punished down in Mashinani because guys are fighting over corruption at the big table.
Yeah.
This is where the problem is. I would vouch for a system anytime. See, in our country we have cameras, Joab. We have cameras on the roads.
I would dare say by day, I've seen those cameras, especially in Gong Road, they're not working. They're hanging upside down.
Thank you. So,
and I was like, the CRIB, that's what they call it? I think that's what they call it.
Yeah. So I reported one time because a young man just passed by and attempted to snatch my phone.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I need this guy. And he was riding, he had a motorbike.
Yeah.
And I go straight away to the police station, I report. And then I tell them to come and check because the cameras were on the roundabout.
Right there.
And they told me, Wakili, those cameras don't work.
All these cameras in the roundabouts, in the cities, in the highways, they are not working.
Yeah. So that would be
those cameras used to work 10 years ago,
man. They work. Some cameras work. But, Joab, this is the point.
Maintenance.
No, it's not maintenance. The club of people who are not happy with those cameras will hire everybody to go and spoil them.
Okay.
so that they can do whatever crime they want to do along that road.
Yeah.
So systems are not bad. They are being resisted. I don't think robbers and thieves would like those cameras in the street. There is no way they can like that. And when you talk about a club of those type of criminals, there are many. There are many, from the street to deep inside the police, deep inside the medical circles, deep inside in institutions. So they will pay people and spoil the systems. So even the 222, this thing you hear that the money is going to Switzerland and whatever, I have never done any research on that. And I don't want to be factual about it. But I can tell you for free, for sure, there are people within that line who have made sure that the 222 does not work.
Yeah.
So before this regime, we had Huduma number. The whole intention was superior. Is to have, like what they have in the West, a personal identification number that is unique.
But don't we have PIN numbers? Can those just be switched and become the Huduma numbers?
Is it automated? The answer is no. And again, like you say, it could be because of procurement issues and they wanted maybe somebody to be given a big contract. That also is another problem.
Yeah.
But we
that also is another form of wash.
Yes. We are being washed by institutions, by the state.
Yeah.
So I think the major issue here, Joab, is we must adopt systems. That look at the judiciary. In our judiciary, we have the CTS portal. It was rolled out. It had teething problems, but we are so comfortable doing all filing from your desk and then making a follow-up if the system doesn't work. On the date when you are appearing before the judge virtually, you mention, I'm sorry, I cannot see my documents in the portal. I need 2 days, 3 days to either re-upload them or confirm what it is. So systems would actually stop even this wash-wash thing we are talking about with time. But apart from systems, we also need our own systems in the body, from mood, mind to the stomach. They ought to be
taken care
properly systemized so that they understand that when you're just feeling hungry in the normal way, it doesn't mean you need to eat the whole basket. You're just, your body is reminding you through its mind that you need to get something for your energies and all that. So our own internal systems should also improve.
You know, it's nice that you mentioned all this and you give credence to the West and how the West has worked. You said there's systems that are supposed to bring people to book. For instance, if you got this money, tell us where the money came from and all that. If the cameras are broken down, there's probably systems to tell us who is supposed to maintain these cameras, who is not doing their job to make sure these cameras are working. If a system is supposed to be procured, there are procurement laws in place to make all these things work. Now, I want to give you an example of a guy. His name was Hash Papi. You probably know him. The guy was in...
the Nigerian guy.
The Nigerian guy in Dubai. The guy defrauded the U.S. government.
The live-rich guy.
Yes.
He was living huge, eh?
Yeah, he was living very large, man. The guy went and conned the American government some money, and he decided to live large in Europe, right? Not Europe, but the Middle East, in Dubai. And I remember, so from his Instagram, I don't think his Instagram is available anymore, but if Dave, if you can find his Instagram, let's put it up on the screen. Or, any of his images from back in the day with his expensive clothing, his expensive cars. I think he used to drive Rolls Royces around. And I think Rolls Royces are expensive cars. He used to basically live large, nice apartment or nice mansion. But the American government taxpayers' money needed to be accounted for. And because there are systems that work in the West, like you said, they somehow worked the authorities in that country. They went, picked him up, extradited him back to America. He was taken to court, he pleaded guilty, and I think he's in prison now for 10 years or something.
11 years.
11 years. So see, those systems are working. Over here, I've seen a couple of politicians arrested sometime, or maybe not necessarily politicians, but leaders arrested sometime. One of the leaders that I remember was former Nairobi city clerk. His name was John Gakuo.
Yeah.
He was arrested and he was fighting his way through court. He eventually died in prison.
Yes.
Well, I don't know if he was imprisoned or he was still, remanded.
No, he had not been imprisoned. I think he was in remand. He was undergoing a trial, I think. Yes.
Yeah. So you see, there's people like those. I also remember this Oneko guy, Acheng Oneko's son. I remember I forget his name. He's a tourism board. That guy also faced the music. And I think those two people were examples who should have turned our system around so that the system works and imprisons these people, like Hush Puppy was. So why aren't our systems working? Why do you get sacrificial lambs? Only sometimes you get 2-3 sacrificial lambs. Sometimes they get in prison, sometimes they don't. If they are in favor of the government of the day, sometimes they're just forgiven. What is the story there? Why are people generally able to know that, you know what, I will be okay. I will do this bad things, but I will be okay. Nothing will happen to me.
Well, that's our space. That's how we are living. We seem to.
But you said that we have systems in place.
We seem to be comfortable with it. Yeah, I know. Mm-hmm. You've given examples of Oneko and who else is this?
Gakuo.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Those are very small,
fish
level here. Mm-hmm. Who has been jailed? I mean, in high places. Who has even been prosecuted correctly and then set free? You understand? Mm-hmm. If you take the case of former Migori Governor Obado, with all those things, around him and the corruption, he returned whatever he had stolen. And by the way, another way of recovering, or rather discouraging corruption, is if people can return what they have stolen. Mm-hmm. But did he return everything? Perhaps not. Because when we don't have a proper system that does proper accounting, you will not even know we lost $1 billion or did we lose 400 million. So the biggest challenge for that is the big offices especially, still condones corruption. Mm-hmm. You look at the advanced democracies. I see it, I have seen, is it the Prime Minister of Netherlands or Luxembourg? Guys who just walk in the street. I mean, you don't even realize they mean nothing.
I'll give you an example of in Canada. It's the same thing. The Prime Minister is riding on the train with you. Sometimes they're pushing each other together on the train. I mean, of course, it doesn't happen like that, but it could happen. I've skied with the Prime Minister, the former Prime Minister of Canada. I was going down this ski. I'm a beginner skier. I don't know how to. I'm not a pro skier, but he was there. He was on a skateboard. And he was going down this, and I was like, "Oh, this is true." And he passes me, and he's like, "Oh," and then stops down there somewhere. And he was talking to some guys. He's a very good skier. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's the culture, the Gen Zs of this country and the Gen Zs of the world. That's the culture they are fighting for. Mm-hmm. But we must not confuse the job, hard work, with envy and hating. Mm-hmm. It does not mean that everybody who is driving a Rolls Royce in town, or everyone who is driving a Mercedes or driving a G-Wagon or whatever, it does not mean he has stolen. That should also go deep into our people's minds. Every hard work breeds wealth. Mm-hmm.
I do agree with you. Let me push back on that a little bit.
Yeah, sure.
I have no problem with our friends in high places, or your friends in high places driving wonderful cars. If you've worked hard and you've been blessed with the Rolls Royce,
and it's just a car anyway, it may not be a sign of wealth, Job. I mean, let viewers understand. If you're driving a big machine, whatever, it's not wealth, to be honest. I mean, the young people coming up must understand that driving big cars is plastic. These are toys, quote unquote.
Yeah, but if you're splashing a lot of money on this toy, you are basically showing your wealth. I mean, you can't be going around driving a 300 million shilling car if you live in a shack somewhere in...
That's the difference. And that's what may benefit people to know and to understand that there are people who can drive big machines, but they do not live necessarily in a big house. Mm-hmm. There are people who may live in big house and they may have big cars, but they're not wealthy. Mm-hmm. That's all they have. I mean, they're fighting to show it that way because they want to keep an image.
Yeah.
And that's all they have.
Yeah.
They don't probably have a home. They don't have, family. Mm-hmm. Probably they don't. Interested or not, but if you don't have family, you have that big car, you have a big house, what is that called? Then you say you are living large, you fly over from Toronto to Quebec to Seattle to Nairobi. What is that called? So I think society must redefine what wealth is. And to define wealth, look at these old barons in the, Wall Street, and you look at the fathers of Nairobi for that matter, some of them have had many buildings in the street. But you not imagine, he will be wearing some funny coat, dropping on the other side, carrying groundnuts in the pocket.
Yeah.
And just walking the normal, and he's driving a pickup.
Let's find Gideri man and put his picture up.
So the biggest problem here is actually understanding our environmental forces today. If you are family and you have warm friends around you and you have health, to be honest, that is huge wealth. That is huge wealth. Because then, if you have wealth, you have health, you can be able to meet Joab tomorrow. We can meet and we chat, and during that thing, during that moment, an idea may sprout, and you may actually think about how to add one or two other things. The reasons why we are always poor in Africa, in Kenya especially, is because we want it all for ourselves. You are saying a prime minister in Canada would use a train, because the train, first of all, is clean. It's normal for everybody. And then you have held people in high esteem. All people are considered human beings. And that's what you teach in churches. You learn that all human beings are important and should be treated equally and fairly. But you come to this part of the world, you find when you're driving a G-Wagon, you're actually looking at another human being walking to work in a healthy way. You're looking at them like they are deputy human beings. I think that's where the biggest problem is. They are not assistants, they are human beings too.
Funny thing, you give some credit to religion, that religion teaches us that all humans are equal. It's very interesting that in the West, religion is generally, dying. The Middle East is coming in with the Islam, and that's kind of taking over. But Christianity, in most of these Western countries, European countries, is kind of fading away. And in those countries, that's where people are considered human beings. When you come to Africa, religion is growing. Christianity is growing. I'm a Seventh-day Adventist, and the Seventh-day Adventist Church in Africa, in the recent General Conference session of 2025, they reported that the church in Africa grew in leaps and bounds. I think very many members joined. I forget the numbers. If we can find the numbers, Dave, we can put them up. But you see, we are not taught, society doesn't teach us that we are equal, though. Even if religion does that. And I think that sometimes probably that speaks to something about who we are inherently, that we don't love each other, You
see, I think you talk about Christology and you talk about religion and all that. I think the biggest problem now, I'm of age, and I can tell you where I think the mishap was and still is the church largely pocketed Jesus Christ and carried him in a bag. Did not release him to the Christendom and to the people in the way Islam is doing, for example.
Yeah.
Islam is utu, what you seem to be. Like if you are a good man, definitely you are a good man, you are a man of God. But the doctrines and dogmas that go around churches in our country and in the world tend to cage denominations into a particular dogma, and you cannot look aside to each other. Even Islam has several sects. You can say Ismailia and then the other ones all down the line. But the larger picture of Islam is help your brother and be nice to them. And that is why you find a lot of Muslims coming together to help each other when there's the times of need, and even helping each other in commerce. One of the issues now emerging in our country is that the Muslim community is closely knit.
Yeah.
They are getting more business. They are helping each other. They are sharing their wealth. And that is what Jesus teaches, by the way. But you look at our people, they have boxed Jesus into SDA and hidden him in Catholic and hidden him in Anglican Church. Yeah. And now people are actually in fighting. The Christians are fighting themselves. So I tend to think that also weighs heavily on morality and weighs heavily on these issues of corruption, these issues of helping one another, helping humanity, so that now Christianity has become a commercialized religion, a commercialized sort of sects. That's why you find somebody will take you to church and slap you and call you names, and you still are there because that is the sect you belong you belong to. You cannot walk away because it is commercialized. The moment you walk away, no one will come to your shop to buy anything. All those customers you had from the same church, they will not come to you because I think we have sort of put Jesus in the pocket, and it's unfair to Christianity. It's unfair to Jesus. It's unfair to God, actually.
You know, I'm listening to you right now, and I couldn't agree with you more. And I want to change gears here a little bit, talk about conservatism versus morality. You know, you've talked about morality, and the West is also undergoing its own challenges. You know, with conservatism, morality being, you know, considered more conservative, and immorality being, you know, being liberal. And while I do not subscribe to immorality, I subscribe to liberalism. Personally, let people be what they want to be, so long as it doesn't affect me as a person. You do you. If you start affecting me, then we have a problem. But if being a certain way makes you happy and that's how you live happily, then be you. Because otherwise, then I start infringing on you. And so I wanted to give reference to a guy who was killed recently. You know, may rest in peace. His name was Charlie Kirk. I think he's been on the news recently as, you know, having been shot dead by this guy. Let's put up a...
This guy was American?
Yeah, he was American.
Yeah. He was shot in a university or something?
Yeah, in the University of Utah or something. I think he was... what the little that I know about him is that he used to debate a lot. He used to, let me call it in quotes, preach a lot of his ideas, and people would come up and debate him. And he was a sharp guy, though.
And this was in the US. You know, Joab, I mean, even before you delve into that, I mean, you in US, you are killed for having a different opinion and freely expressing yourself. That's why I'm telling you that the world is still largely conservative.
The world is conservative, yes. And I think the world is conservative.
And even the government.
And it's coming out now. I think over the past couple of years, the left has been pushing its agenda so much. So the people like me, the liberals, we've been pushing our agenda so much, and our agendas have been moving forward. But it's like what that did is like the conservatives were angry, but they couldn't speak up for fear of repression. And so they kept quiet. But now they have an opportunity to speak up. Now they are expressing themselves, and now it feels like the tables are turning. And now the liberals or the left is attacking them. I mean, I don't know a lot about, what really happened, and I think the thing is in court. But I think it is just sad, man, that someone can actually, just stand up and kill
that's what I'm saying.
someone for their idea.
Yeah, except for what we saw in social media, by the way. I do not know exactly why he was so enraged. Even if, let's say, Charlie was debating all bad issues, whether you talk of abortion, you talk about the views about God and morality, talk about families and upbringing and whether parents are doing it right. Even if he was debating those sensitive topics, even security for that matter, I don't think somebody should put a bullet in his head just because he's debating that. Because he's expressing himself. And I saw this just over the weekend, by the way, right here in Kisii in Kenya, where a member of parliament comes up and starts to say, Ruto is lying. That's all he's saying. I mean, he's just expressing himself.
Yeah.
And that's enraging a fellow member of parliament. He's actually going after his hand and mic. You can't say like this. You cannot, somebody's being a monitor or a prefect of the president down there in the Mashinani. So people are not tolerant.
Yeah.
Ordinarily, they are conservatives. But in fact, families are conservatives. Churches are conservatives. Mosques are conservatives.
Yeah.
Everybody wants you to follow a structure. Now we earlier talked about the judiciary and people are conservatives.
Yeah.
So the saviors are these people who try to come up and say that, hey, we can be liberal. Yeah. Easy, guys. Easy. That's still a new concept. That's still a new concept because I should be allowed to do what I want to do, like you say. Yeah. But again, Joab, when you let people be how they want to be, I think they should do that in their own houses or in spaces which they control. Because when you come, for example, I come to this studio and I want to be what I want to be.
I mean, so long as you don't affect me, It's fine. You can be what you want to be. I mean, if you want to, I mean,
I think I will affect you.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. If you then start affecting me, then we have a problem. But I think there should be some level of freedom that people should be given to be who they want to be, because that makes you happy. So, for instance, if someone was to force me to start wearing a white shirt today, every day, I'll be sad. Now, if you were to wear a white shirt, I don't think that affects me. If you start telling me, hey, man, you got to wear a white shirt every day when you come to my office or when you come to see me, then
see,
that's affecting
I think
me.
that has to be regulated. There are people who want to kill themselves, for example. There are people who want to die. Whether euthanasia or through self-killing or knifing or killing themselves by a gun or something. The major issue here is you can't let people completely exercise their freedom in that way, because if you want to kill yourself, for example, you have children and you want to kill yourself, but those children are entitled to you. They need to see you until they are at a certain age.
Can we take care of the reason why this one guy wants to kill themselves? If you are a 25-year-old guy, a 35-year-old guy wants to kill yourself because you're stressed because your wife left you.
But in liberalism, you are not allowing, you don't want to go to that extent because he wants to be what he wants to be. And
but let us provide structures that will take care of this guy at 35 years old and he's stressed because his wife left him, wants to kill himself. Let us provide counseling for him. He wants to kill himself because he's lonely. But if the guy is 95 and he's uncomfortable, he's in pain, and he wants to rest, and his family agrees.
95 is your estimate. Age is just a number. Age is just a number. He might be, even 95 is still young. If the family wants to see him, there's the youngest person in this family as married, but and they want to have a child, and they want the grandfather to see him, Okay,
let's paint a picture here. The guy is 95. He's demented. He's no longer himself. He can't clothe himself. He can't speak. He's in constant pain because he's suffering from, some strange disease. And he has said, I am in pain, I am suffering. If I want this guy to be alive, then I am the selfish one.
No, you see, Joab, my mother is 92, going to 93 now.
Yes.
And she's healthy and she's walking all around, doing a lot of things for herself.
Yes, she is fine. And that is fine. And if we all agree...
if she says today, I want to die, I don't think I'll agree.
Of course, that one we can debate. But there should be... That's why I said, if there are structures, the guy is in pain. Me, where I draw the line is discomfort. This guy is so uncomfortable. The only reason why I want him alive is because I just want to keep seeing him. That is me wanting him to continue suffering.
But, well, I think that is more medical than moral, because then, as the medical industry, have they done enough research to ensure that they know exactly how he's feeling and confirm that they can't stop that kind of pain?
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I'm saying. If they can't stop the pain, if there's no medication that can stop the pain because of the extent of the disease, there's no treatment for that disease, then, let the guy
I hide in the knowledge that life is sacred and it belongs to God. That is why I stop, because I can't imagine that I can support somebody who wants to kill himself. I don't know how I can live with that guilt. Maybe medical practitioners.
I think even me personally, I wouldn't want to be the guy to sign. If someone came today and told me, I'm giving you the power of attorney, sign anything, DNR, don't resuscitate me, stuff like that, I wouldn't want to be in that position. But I think if someone wants that, there should be laws and structures in place to allow that. So there's some countries in the world that have that. So Canada doesn't have that yet, but it has some structure to some level. But there's some Scandinavian countries where people go to die. Where you're tired of living you're basically tired of living, you just go and die. And I think that those are the sad ones, where you go and commit suicide at 35, they kill you legally. I think that is just sad.
I think that's not good. But anyway, in terms of being conservatives or liberals, liberals should also have checks. We must have safeguards and checks. We must ensure that when people are growing up, now you're talking about 35 being killed or agreeing to kill themselves. When people are growing up, they should have hope of life. We must encourage the aspect that there is life.
Yeah.
And the hope of living and living happily too. So where you would find liberalist wants to say no, I want to die or I want to do this. I think there should be a safeguard. There should be some safeguard. Otherwise, even our own minds,
Yeah.
we can run this show until 6 in the morning, isn't it? Unless you control it. Unless you're like, okay, we just run it an hour and that's it. Yeah. So if human beings are not controlled in anything, there are people who drink from evening to next day in the morning, and they are supposed to be going to work, and they are doing what they want to do, isn't it?
Yeah.
But what will happen with job? How is it going to be handled at work? What is going to happen?
True.
Industries will fall. So
Yeah.
Liberalism must be guarded and actually molded towards a certain level of achieving what you want.
I get your point. Let me bring back to Charlie's story, and I want to draw a parallel there with what happened recently in Kenya. So in Kenya, we also had a guy who was killed recently. He's a fellow legal practitioner like you. I think they call him Kyalo Mbobu.
Yes, Wakili Mbobu.
Rest in peace to the gentleman. He also didn't deserve to die the way he died.
Sure.
Strangely enough, in America, they've arrested the guy who killed him, or who killed Charlie Kirk, right? And I think the parents or the father was instrumental in convincing him to hand himself over, or I think he called the cops and basically handed the son over to the authorities. So why aren't we? I feel like we are nowhere close to finding the killers of Charlie.
I think they arrested some guy. They said he's a former KANU stalwart.
The guy was released, I think, or 2 days later or something.
Yeah, our laws don't say that when you arrest somebody, you should keep him longer than 24 hours.
Yeah.
I mean, even when you suspect them, even when you highly believe to be the one, you must drop him in court and let him answer to the charges, or rather ask the judge to allow you to keep this person for more than 24 hours. That's our law.
I think the KANU stalwart, I don't want to speculate, but he might not have been the trigger man. I'm talking about catching the trigger man, the guy who actually pulled the trigger.
By the way, in reality, if you want me to answer you most carelessly, that guy could be arrested by now if the police are serious.
That's what I'm saying.
Kenya is a country, I think, ranked highly, probably unmatched in terms of investigation and intelligence. They have, of course, shared intelligence with Israel. They have, at some time, also related with Russia, and they have very good books with the US. We have extremely highly trained forces in Kenya.
Yeah.
If they want to arrest that guy, it will not, the guy was shot down at about 7 before 8. By midnight,
they would have got
there should be breaking news. The guy is arrested. His name is so-and-so. And no guessing. I mean, they already, as we speak, the government knows actually who exactly killed him. So, but like I said, Joab, that is Karen. Karen is upmarket suburb. I mean, talk of the roads where this person ran to, which diversion he took.
There must be security cameras in gates.
Anywhere he's going to exit, there is a camera. And even if he has to hide somewhere around there for some time, with the descriptions and people saw him, he should be arrested. But I am starting to believe that everybody has interests. And in this case, if somebody had an interest in killing him, it cannot be an ordinary person in the street. It must be people who are high level. And if that is the case, then the killer will never be found. By the way, a different killer might be found and placed in the dock. And the judges will naturally release him because
it's not the one.
The evidence placing him at site will not be produced by any police officer. So you talked about conservatism and liberalism. That is where now it is eating us. Instead of arresting people, when the president took power in 2022, you remember him saying that I will stop this, kama sio hivi, wahame Kenya, uende mbinguni, ama sijui fanya nini. That was a tough statement. If that kind of direction is given by this country, especially the head of state, we will stop being killed. By birds, by chicken, like birds, like chicken in the street. People are just being shot dead. You remember the member of parliament was shot dead.
Yeah.
So in fact, the chances of you driving and reaching home are 20%. the higher chances are you would be killed, especially if somebody plans that he wants to kill you.
Yeah.
You don't find this. In fact, it is rare. Even if in the West, it must be a reason is connected to the death. But here, you're just being killed. He's a lawyer. You keep wondering, is it because of some differences with somebody, or what was the issue? And the issue will never come out, because if the issue comes out, then we will know who's behind his death.
Who's behind it?
So they will tell us, oh, you know, he had a lot of money with the Shylocks. What is the issue? There is no illegality of having money to banks
people.
or even Shylocks.
Yeah.
Then they say, oh, he owed somebody, I don't know, 17 million. After people who have money will not kill you for money because they want money. They are not after killing it or killing somebody.
Yeah.
They want money, and they know very well. People who have money know you cannot kill so as to make money. Because the sweat, the blood cycle of a person who has been working, probably working to pay you and hasn't achieved, is cut short. Then that itself spells do more. And businessmen know this, that to go to the extent of killing, a person who's killing really is not a business person. So who killed Kyalo? A very honest guy in town, a very good lecturer. He taught me commercial law at the university in the master's program. And very amiable, I mean, ready to share or to help. I remember when I was applying to be in the political party's tribunal, he had just left. And I approached him, I said, what happens here? And he was very polite. He's very polite. You know, that people who don't keep information. They will just tell you.
Yeah.
Because they don't mind if you grow. They are okay with that. But there are people who are quite stingy. That's not Kyalo. Kyalo was a very honest and very kind person.
Yeah. May he rest in peace.
May his soul rest in peace.
As we're learning this plane, there's a tradition we have here. I normally treat my guests like presidents. And so as I borrow this from the United States, where the president in office normally leaves a letter for the next president who's coming into the office. And so since what we have here is a wonderful conversation and great questions, the guest who was here most recently left a question for you. And so you also you'll get an opportunity to leave a question for the next guest on the show. So your question is, who would you exchange lives with, dead or alive?
I exchange my life. Why am I exchanging my life?
You can answer the question whatever you want.
I know, I agree.
Yeah.
I see, Joab. Why would I exchange my life? I mean, let me tell you, the person who has influenced me a lot during my adulthood is this gentleman called Napoleon Hill.
Yeah.
And especially the books he wrote.
I think I've read one of them, Think and Grow Rich.
Think and Grow Rich.
Yeah.
Trying to make thoughts and ideas to be practical things. And by the way, with this kind of knowledge growing, that is why we discussed earlier that things like religion and Christianity have lost salt when you realize that, oh, there is such information in books I buy in the street. So Napoleon Hill was such a great guy in terms of, I know he died in not necessarily very wealthy situations, but he wrote very majestically and very powerfully in terms of transmuting ideas into practical things.
Yeah.
So if I had to live again, I would love to live a life like that if I were to exchange my life. But I doubt I'm willing to exchange. I don't know what that guy was having in mind when you asked him.
Yeah.
For me, I love my life and I would love to live this way. I would love to exchange my life with me.
Yeah. Man, that is dope. You love to exchange your life with you. All right, so here's your opportunity, man. Take your time and you can write a question for the next guest on the show. I normally don't see the question actually until I'm just about to ask the question.
Oh, you do?
Yeah. So,
okay.
So like this question, I just saw it right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I don't have to tell you the question?
No, you don't have to tell me the question. Man, this has been beautiful, man. Hanging out with you here has been awesome. You are such a great... Esquire is a title. Can I call you? You are such a great Esquire.
You are a wonderful guy anyway to hang out with.
Yeah.
I would love to have this repeat every now and again.
Yeah, that's beautiful,
When there's
man.
opportunity.
Of course, you're always welcome, man.
Yeah.
As we had this conversation, maybe it is possible that there's something you wanted to say. I didn't give you an opportunity.
Yeah.
But you get an opportunity now to give a parting shot to the folks out there. So, tell them a parting shot.
Yeah, for me and for your friends and viewers, by the way, life is simple the way it is. We should not really belabor to try to make certain things appear what they are not. And especially the ones who are growing now. You don't have to show off. Once in a while, when you want to, threaten your friends with lingo or good attire or a car, let that be understood in context that it is just for laughs.
Yeah.
But life is not based on the wealth we have or how fluent we speak or how much money we have. Life really, what I can say, is based on nice, good health. And then being warm. Do you know it's a privilege to have a free flowing mind? It is not available to everybody, by the way. So for me, health is more critical. If God gives me wealth and if God gives me health and keeps wealth, I will not complain.
Hey. I don't know how many people agree with you, man. Ishmael Nyaribo is a lawyer, practices in the city of Nairobi. Do you guys are you guys allowed to advertise your services? Can I put your name and contact in the description to this video so that people can reach out to you?
Yes, of course, that's okay. I mean, we are allowed to describe our titles. Yes, you can.
Yeah, so I'm gonna put your contact to the description to this video. If anybody has any legal trouble and they want to reach out, they want some sort of assistance. Those
who want practical assistance. That's the catchword.
Beautiful. This gentleman will be more than willing to assist. Thanks, Ishmael, for coming out today, man. It's been a pleasure hanging out with you here on the Couch Connect, man.
Thank you, man.
Yep.
Asante sana.
If you made it this far, folks, I think it's because you did like this episode. So if you haven't yet, do subscribe to this channel and remember to tell your friends to tell their friends. Till next time, do take care.